you still have to understand that you will fall short. And I've fallen short. If I fall short, this might ruin everything. Don't let your trauma ruin your relationships. Yeah, I let that happen. Damn. A lot of things, bro, growing up, even now today in my adult life, I fight on my own because I've done that all my life. You have to do your part in making people understand. I don't think I've done a well enough job in my relationships to make people understand the barriers that I have to fight. If I could suppress those things, everything else is easy to suppress. I had to look in the mirror this week and say, like, yo, you, excuse my language, but you fucked up. Your trauma is your own, right? And nobody understands that trauma or the severity of how that trauma shows up in your life because it's not their own. The people that are worth fighting for, you fight for them to stay in your life. And you don't let trauma push them out. If they're gonna be pushed out of your life, you be in control of it, not some shit that you didn't ask for. I wasn't gonna do a solo episode today, but, well, prior to deciding of when to come in to record, I wasn't going to do a solo episode. But I actually got something, like, on my heart today. And, like, this is the beauty of allowing this stuff to be my real life. Like, this is my real life. And I seen something this week that said, well, just drifting off of what's on my heart. I seen something this week that said, hold on, what exactly did it say? It said, be a faithful steward of your relationships. And, like, that's very much my real life at this point right now. Because you go through things and that's something that I have not done very well at all. And some things, like, you can control, some things you can't control, some things you better control. But it's just not something that I've done a great job of. Like, we talk about stewardship on here a lot. And when people hear stewardship, they think steward your finances or steward, I don't know, your business, steward other things other than your relationships. And, like, what is the actual definition of stewardship? Stewardship is the responsible management and care of something entrusted to one's care. So that involves relationships, because I think that God has given us one of the greatest gifts that he's given us other than salvation is relationships. And I think it's our responsibility to steward them well. And that's not something that I've done a great job of. Like, I don't think there's an excuse for that. But at the same time, there are things that people struggle with to have to steward their relationships well. Like, for me personally, there are two things in my life, or that have happened in my life, or circumstances in my life that create a barrier for me and that stop me from stewarding my relationships well. But it's up to me at the same time to look in the mirror and say, you're letting this take control of you. Like, my brother says it all the time. You don't let your trauma control you. You control your trauma. And ever since he said that to me a couple months ago, I try, bro. I really do try. But at the end of the day, when you do try, you still have to understand that you will fall short. And I've fallen short. I've seen I hope this is not too much. But it's my real life, so whatever. I've seen a very important relationship to me walk away from me. And not just this one, but I've seen plenty of them. Plenty of important relationships walk away from me because I didn't make it my business to control my trauma. Dang, should I go there? I feel like that's so personal, and it's like this is not stuff to say on camera. I don't know. I'm just gonna say like, forget it. I'm gonna say it. Our parents divorced when me and my brother's parents divorced when we were young. We were what, elementary school, middle school, maybe? Elementary school. And so, like, I don't care how whoever feels about it. This is my real life. I watched my dad basically to me. And this is my own trauma, so even if I'm sorry if he feels a way about it, whatever. Because you don't understand how things when you're a kid, you don't understand how things affect you until you get older, because that's when it really shows up. When you're a kid, it's like, oh, whatever, like it's something just happening, but you don't understand how it affects you until you get older. But our parents divorced when we were in elementary school. And I watched my dad move to another state and technically start a whole nother family. Technically. Like, that's what I watched my dad do as a kid. And as a little girl, you want your dad around. You want to be daddy's girl. But that's something that I never had, because that's the choice that my dad made. And so now in my adult relationships, I look at everybody and I'm like, you might leave too. Like, if my own flesh and blood would choose itself, would leave, what would anybody else do? Like, nobody else is gonna spare me of my like, nobody else is gonna do that. I'm disposable to everybody else. My own flesh and blood left. And granted, my dad was always there financially. He was always a phone call away. But as a kid, bro, and you don't understand it till you get older, you want the physical presence. Didn't have it. So yeah, that makes you put up like this wall of like, I'm not getting close to nobody. I'm not letting nobody get to know me because you might leave. My dad did it. Why wouldn't you? And so, like, I speak a lot about, I have issues, I have trauma, and I've never said what it was, but that's one of the things that keep me away from people. Like, snap, my bad. You might leave though. You might change your mind. Like when my parents divorced, my dad told my mom something along the lines of like, this is no longer a part of my plans. He said something, and I don't know what this meant when he said that, but you might change your mind. And so it's like, if I keep you at a distance, when you do decide to leave, when you do decide to change your mind, it won't hurt as bad. That's one of the ways that my trauma shows up. It's just like there's just this wall and this barrier that I feel like I have to keep up because everybody leaves. And you don't want to see people walk away, but it's like when you've seen the same thing so many times, whether you've caused it or not, because some of the people that have walked away from my life, I've been the cause of it. Sometimes I haven't been the cause of it, but when you see that so many times, you become numb to it. And so when somebody sits in your face and says, I'm walking away from you, it's just like, again, okay, cool. I've been through this already. So that's one of the ways I think that my trauma shows up. And again, as I said, like, you don't realize how these things affect you until you get older. And my brother's here today, and like, I'm pretty sure, I don't know actually, because I'm pretty sure that was traumatic for him too. But I don't know how it shows up for him in his life. I don't know. But nobody understands, your trauma is your own, right? And nobody understands that trauma or the severity of how that trauma shows up in your life because it's not their own. Like, for example, when my mom was younger, my mom is terrified of dogs. Terrified, petrified, because she's seen one of her friends get a chunk of her arm bit out by a dog because they were being chased by a dog. Somebody would hear that and say, oh, you're scared of dogs? Why are you scared of dogs? You didn't see what she's seen. So it doesn't mean that much to you. You don't understand the severity of it. You don't understand it. So it's hard to understand something when it's not you. It's hard to understand the severity of it when it's not you, but everybody's trauma is real. Another thing for me, another way that trauma shows up for me is like, okay, so my family dynamic is, my mom is the oldest of 8 kids, right? So my mom had, I felt like everybody was paired with somebody growing up. Everybody was paired with somebody. Like, my mom had my Aunt Angie. They're around the same age. My Uncle James had my Uncle Brent. My Uncle Kari had my Aunt Kiki. And my brother had my Uncle Kobe and my Uncle Lonnie. Who did that leave, like, just dolo? I felt like. And it may not have been that way to everybody else, but, like, that's what it looked like to me through my own eyes and through my own feelings. Who was left dolo? Me. I was the youngest. Like, I was by myself. So a lot of times it's like, for me, even, and it shows up in my adult life. As a kid, bro, because I seen everybody had somebody, that made me suppress feelings that I didn't want to voice to anybody because I felt like I had nobody. Because everybody was already paired with somebody. Does that make sense? So it's like, a lot of things, bro, growing up, even now today in my adult life, I fight on my own because I've done that all my life. So if somebody asks me to express something or express feelings or do this, like, it's a real process for me to do that. I don't understand how to do that because I've never had to. I've never felt the environment to do so. Never. And so it's like my relationships, because of all of that, and there are things now to this day that people do not know about me that I fight every day. So it's like there's something that there are things that I've had to go through and that I have to battle with every day. And it's like, if I could suppress those things, everything else is easy to suppress. Like, so it's a process for me to express and to just say what, like, it's a process for me to do that. And it's like, yes, you do your part in stewarding your relationships well. And those are the things that create barriers for me in my relationships. But you do your part in stewarding them well. But at the same time, there's a certain, because I have to fight those barriers every day, there's still a certain level of patience and understanding that I need for me to fight through those barriers in my relationships. Am I making sense? So yeah, bro, like I think that's been on my heart all week. Like, everybody just doesn't understand. And it's like, you don't ask for sympathy. You don't ask for anybody to feel bad for you. No, that's not. But I do ask for a level of patience and understanding, because I do have to fight barriers. And because of those barriers, sometimes I will fall short in my relationships. So it's like stewarding relationships is not like it's not a one-way street, I guess you can say, but niggas gotta fight every day. And it's like, you need somebody to understand that. Like, just be patient with me. That's it. Yeah. That's been on my heart this week. Yeah. The word of the week, yeah, patience. Or you could say stewardship, or you could say understanding, or you could say, I don't know, you can say whatever you want, but like, those are the things that I need to steward my relationships well. And I know that could be a lot to ask for some people, because again, some people just don't understand your trauma because it's not their own. They don't understand the weight or the severity of it because it's not their own, and that's fine. I don't expect you to understand. Again, I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for you to feel bad. I'm not asking for none of that. I'm just asking for a certain level of understanding and patience. Again, because I will fall short. Yeah, man. It's difficult.
Talk about like that falling short.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that you will fall short, can't you fight that will of falling short?
But it's like, sometimes it goes back to saying, like, you're human. Like, nobody's ever gonna get all of it right all the time.
So it's an expectation that you have
An expectation to fall short.
that you don't want to fall short. Like that, you know what I'm saying? Like it could be an expectation that you don't want to fall short. That's why that thought of, damn, I might fall short coming.
Yes, in a way, because it's like, if I fall short, this might ruin everything. Like I say to you guys all the time, don't let your trauma ruin your relationships. Yeah, I let that happen. Damn. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you gotta look in the mirror and say, like, I had to look in the mirror this week and say, like, yo, you, excuse my language, but you fucked up. Or you're messing up. I had to look in the mirror and say that this week. But that's human. Right? And sometimes,
It's good that you sit there
yeah,
and self.
yeah. And sometimes there are people in your life that make you face that trauma, that make you look in the mirror and say, you messed up, or you're messing up. because I don't know if I messed up too much or if I'm messing up and I'm trying to get it right. I don't know. Um, but and then sometimes you have to do your part in making people understand. Like I don't think I've done a well enough job in my relationships to make people understand the barriers that I have to fight every day. Because if people don't understand, they don't know. Like they just think that you're just closed off or you're just I don't know mean or you don't want to share, you don't want to be open. People will think that because you didn't make them understand. You didn't do your due diligence in making them understand what you have to fight. And I don't say that to say like you make your fight their fight, no. But you make it a thing where this is what I need from you for me to give you what you need. So yeah, like I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Steward your relationships well. Don't be like me. Don't be like me and like because it's painful to see people walk away. It is. Over things that you never asked for or over things that you never asked for to occur in your life or that you never things that didn't happen because of you. You're a kid, like you're innocent as a kid. Like I didn't ask to be the youngest kid. I didn't ask for my parents to be divorced. I didn't ask for my dad to move to another state. Like those are not things I asked for, but those are cards that I was dealt. And like I don't like I didn't ask for that. Yeah, I didn't ask for that. And like bro, I ain't even gonna lie. This week, like I was like, bro, I need help. Of trying to figure out like why do I have to fight these barriers? Or why was I given these things? Or why was I given these challenges? Or why do I have to see people walk away? Or
Maybe it's all building you.
maybe. Or maybe I just need to grow up. I don't know. I don't know.
No, because you're growing up with all these experiences, so it's building you to be bigger than
Yeah.
any of those people that
Yeah.
didn't have to deal with that.
I don't know.
At the end of the day, you're stronger than those.
Yeah.
Truly. Now, instead of asking why,
Yeah.
see the why within. You know,
Yeah.
like okay, why this happened? There has to be okay. Damn, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It builds. You know, like it builds you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's good questions to ask why, but also see the win out of that.
Yeah.
That momentary loss because it's momentary. Now you're an adult. You know, as a kid, I think that kids grow with trauma because they're hit harder. Like your mom when she was a child. An adult will experience that bite chunk and say, "Oh shit," you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, like what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But as a child,
Yeah.
they don't have that experience. They don't have that emotion. How to overcome that? What am I looking at right now?
Yeah. But it's like it hits you like a ton of bricks because it's like I said, as a kid, you do not know how this stuff will affect you. You do not know how it will show up in your adult life. And it's like that shit that you didn't ask for. So it's like I'm not even concerned about how that's going to affect me because I didn't ask for this. I didn't.
So then that's why it will never affect you. Because you won't ever allow it to. Does that make sense?
But sometimes you have no control over it. And it's like, as an adult, it's like, okay, I have trust issues. I can't express myself, or it takes me a while to do so. Why? That's not normal. It's not.
It's not. But
So where the hell did it come from? That's what I'm saying. It hits you like a ton of bricks because, like, damn, they can express themselves. They don't have trust issues. They talk to anybody. They don't have to freaking observe people for years and months to freaking open up to. Like, why do I have to do that? That's not normal. So it's like your trauma is your own, and it's like as a kid, you're not thinking about that. You're not. When some shit happens as a kid, it's like, it's not. You're not thinking, oh shit, I got to deal with this as an adult. You're not thinking about that. But when you become an adult, it's like, why am I like this? And you don't understand it until you look in a mirror and you look over the course of your life and say, that's why. Or that could be why. Yeah, like I don't know. Like I cried real tears this week over this. Like, yeah, trauma's real, bro, and it's real. It's a real thing.
no, no. For real, it's real.
It is. It is. And like, I don't know, you never think, like, you see people and like how they operate, and it's like, oh, or you hear traumatic stories and things like that, and it's like, oh, that'll never be me. But it's like everybody's trauma is different. And it's not like, oh, I don't know, people would consider things traumatic like I watched somebody die or something. Like, my life is not that. But my trauma is my own, and the severity of it, the weight of it, is heavy for me. Somebody else may feel that and be like, oh, this is lightweight. For me, it's heavy because it shows up in my relationships. So, yeah, that's my little rant for the day. Yeah. What time am I at?
You're on time. 1 minute left.
Okay, I'll try to end this with a be for real. I guess this is like twofold. If you have trauma that you carry daily, you don't, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Don't use your trauma as a crutch, but you try to fight through those barriers every day. And it's tough to fight barriers and then try to maintain relationships at the same time. It's tough, but the people that are worth fighting for, you fight for them to stay in your life. And you don't let trauma push them out. If they're going to be pushed out of your life, you be in control of it, not some shit that you didn't ask for. But on the other side, if you are in relations with someone who does fight battles internally every day, who does have trauma that they fight, just be patient with them. Just be patient with them. Be understanding. Be graceful. Because they need that. I need that. And going back to the other side, man, make sure you make it your business for people to understand what you struggle with. Because if they don't understand, they won't understand. You don't know what you don't know. So, I'm Briah.